So while my videos on verbs like gustar are loading, because I got kind of into personal at the end there and like may have confused people, I wanted to make a short video on personal a real quick while those are loading. So personal a. This should be brief, I hope. So like I said, in Spanish, whenever there is an action happening to a person, let me write this out in words. Whenever a verb is directly or indirectly affecting a person. Now, give me a second to reflect to make sure that I'm right about that. Yes. Whenever a verb is indirectly or directly affecting a person, you have to write the word a after the verb, but before you mention the person. Put a little star here. Applies to animals being treated like people. I will read this aloud. Whenever a verb is directly or indirectly affecting a person, you have to write the word a before the verb, but after the verb, but before you mention the person. Applies to animals being treated like people. I'm going to highlight I'm going to highlight after the verb, but before you mention the person. Okay, so I'm going to give some examples of that. Oh, okay, and the thing is, this occurs whenever, let me continue, let me write a new page. I'm going to write in big letters, pronouns are exempt. Pronouns are exempt, pronouns are exempt, pronouns are exempt, pronouns are exempt from this rule. Okay? So when I say that, what am I talking about? I'm talking about the stuff I was talking about at the end of the last video. So we're not talking about me, te, le, nos, os, and les. Not talking about those. And we're not talking about me, te, lo, /la, nos, os, and los, /las. Not talking about that. Pronouns are exempt. Pronouns are exempt. Pronouns are exempt. Okay? So I'm going to give some examples so you get the gist. So here, I'm going to write in English. I write the letter to her. I'm also going to write or I'll change this up. I'm also going to write, and I'll write it down here. We love her. Why is it always her? Because women have been deleted from the story of history. Just kidding. We love them. From the narrative of history, #feminist, #feminista. And then number 3, how about you? You teach me. Okay? We're going to see the personal at in effect here. I write the letter to her. This, when we're not using pronouns, because I said pronouns are exempt, right? I write the letter to her. Yo le, I'm going to include this indirect object pronoun right here. Yo le escribo la carta a, this is my personal a coming in, ella. Okay? I should have mentioned that the personal a usually goes right before the person or people being named. Goes right before, okay? We love them. Nosotros queremos a ellos. Personal a coming in. You teach me. You teach me. Tú enseñas a mí. A mí. This is what I was talking about at the end of the last video, okay? This is my personal a coming in. Now watch what happens if I try to do it with pronouns, so I can show you that it's wrong. You write the letter to her. This is not. Yo, gosh, this is not yo sé, this is not yo a sé la escribo. Incorrect. It also is not yo a le la escribo. Like none of those variations, none of this work. This is not yo a sé la escribo. Whenever you're doing pronouns, a doesn't go, okay? See how nonsensical that looked and sounded? Let's do another example down here. We love them. This is not nosotros a los queremos. Incorrect. Okay? And this is not tú a me enseñas. This is not correct either. Okay? When you're using pronouns, you don't use personal a. Let me tell you your options for personal a. Your options for personal a. Now, that is not to say that you cannot use a pronoun in the sentence to refer to something that you're going to refer to by name later on in the sentence and use personal a there. Later on, you have to use personal a because you're referring to something not by the pronoun. But when you're referring to it by the pronoun in the beginning of the sentence, you do not use personal a. Let me give you an example. Let me take that first sentence. I write the letter to her, okay? Yo le escribo la carta a ella. This le here is referring to this ella here. But there's no personal a here. But there is a personal a here. Okay? Do you understand how that works? It doesn't go with pronouns. It goes with when you're not using pronouns. And just to review some of the stuff we talked about in other videos, this whole sentence could be condensed to yo sé la escribo. That all could be condensed to that, in which la is referring to la carta, and sé is referring to a ella. Okay? This le and this sé here are the same. But because I did not change la carta to la and move it in front of escribo, there was no need to change this to sé because there were not two L's competing with each other. And finally, I will end this video with your choices for personal a. So whenever you have someone's name, you can just use personal a and their name. Rafael. 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 Is that how you spell that? Is there an accent mark? Who knows? I don't speak Spanish. So, a Sarah. A Victoria. If you've got a name, you can use it. Okay? If you've got a group of people that you're referring to by some kind of title, a los empleados. Empleados. To the employees. Empleados. A los empleados. A los profesores. A los nigerianos. To the Nigerians. A las mujeres. All of these work perfectly, okay? So when you've got someone's name, you can use their name. When you've got some sort of title, you can use a title. If you want to use the personal a referring to yourself, your option for that is a mí. Okay? This is how you say to me. An action being done to me. This is your option. Same thing with a ti, that corresponds with tú. And then a usted. Okay? A ella. A él. Options. Then a nosotros. None of these are pronouns. All right? None of these are direct object or indirect object pronouns, is what I'm trying to say. A nosotros, a vosotros, a ustedes, a ellas, a ellos. These are your options for the personal a. Okay? So just to go over, let me read my therefore statement as we say in Campus Union. Personal a. Whenever a verb is directly or indirectly affecting a person, you have to write the word a after the verb, but before you mention the person. I later said that the a usually goes right before, actually always goes right before the person that is mentioned. Right before the person that is mentioned. Right before their name. Right before me. Right before ti. Okay, right before. And this applies to animals being treated like people as well. So that's all.